Trapped at 11,000 feet, the struggle for survival begins. Welcome to I Hope You Suffer.
You read all of that with the exact amount of enthusiasm I had for that movie.
I like, too, that, like, the poster for it, like, the thing they're trapped in, like, the wires on both ends are, like, blown off, so...
Plummeting to their death.
Yeah, not the same level of in danger that happens in this movie. It was fine, but I'm really mad about things that happen in it.
This is episode 185 of I Hope You Suffer. My name is I'm not seeing any good names in this cast list. That's my name. Oleg. My name is Oleg.
Who is Oleg?
One of the producers, Oleg Yakovlev.
Oh, yeah. I'm Ivan Drago, a different Russian man.
I'll be Roma, just because we've definitely had a Roma before. And I like tomatoes.
Okay, beefsteak. This week we watched 2019's Break. What I'm going to describe as the Russian Frozen. The Disney version.
But bad, yeah.
This is not a single Olaf in this entire movie.
Nor a song. Well, that's a lie. There's a lot of songs and they're all fucking awful.
Yeah, what the heck?
Dude just like driving around or being driven around
Oh
in the
my
taxi,
god.
Jamming fucking...
He puts his like headphone in and it just does the needle drop for that horrible sappy song. I wanted to die.
Oh
I was
God,
like, why are we watching this guy just be emo listening to music?
There are two people in the crew of this movie named Oleg.
Well, yeah.
Oleg Smagin is the other one. He's a writer. This movie had 7 writers.
Oh.
For a movie about people trapped in a fucking single room above some snow.
Could have used 11 more.
Yeah.
I have to say, like, I don't know if it was just like the subtitle situation or like a translation issue, but there was a lot of parts where I just like didn't understand like what they were talking about.
I don't know if I ran across that necessarily.
If you didn't pay attention like me, then that's not an issue.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, it was kind of hard because I was like actually, taking notes or whatever, and so like I can't actually understand what they're saying, so I was glancing down a lot, and so maybe that all
you need to know is Oleg.
Yeah, all of them, all like 10 of them in this movie.
Every writer was Oleg.
I didn't realize that this movie was actually in Russian because on YouTube it was like, because I didn't realize it was on Tubi originally because it doesn't say it is on Letterboxd.
Gotcha.
And so I just happened to like stumble across it and I was like, oh, it's on Tubi, so I don't have to watch it on like YouTube. So I just watched it on there, but the YouTube one I think I had like an English dub, so I just thought it was in English when I picked it. So that explains that. I wonder if maybe we just left YouTube. I'm not sure. It's not usually Letterboxd has like it isn't usually no, it's still on here. Weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
Should have watched Christmas Break-In instead.
You know what is really unfortunate? I literally watched that yesterday.
Yep, right. Does not surprise me.
It's
How was it?
not good. It was surprisingly not. It was not good. It was not good. I watched a lot of ones recently that were just unbearable.
Have you watched Steven
That one was
Seagal's
pretty good.
Mercenary for Justice?
No.
Jeez.
Is that a Christmas movie?
No, I don't know.
Sure.
I don't even know why it's coming up when I looked up break, because the word break isn't on like any aspect of this
Well,
movie.
mercenaries break people's body parts. So
Steven Seagal changed his name to Break.
Oh man.
Break
Yep.
Seagal.
Watch 2019's Beyond the Law starring DMX and Steven Seagal.
Oh, God.
did you say 2019?
Yep.
Wow.
There's a lot of
Well-
Steven Seagal movies on fucking Tubi.
Shocker to nobody. Yeah, I don't know. This was like fine, but I feel like everything that happened was literally the people's fault, and so it was infuriating. And also, I would have rather have just watched Frozen again.
Yeah, it's just like it. I don't know. Like I didn't like hate watching it. It was just very middle of the road because it was very much just like, okay, well, this is like, it literally is Frozen, but without like the ridiculous aspects of like what Adam Green did with Frozen, where like, you know, the shit with like the wolves and like,
Yeah,
you know, the like direct exposure of like just being on like a ski lift as opposed to in this like room.
being
Like,
inside.
it's
Yeah.
just it kind of like it was like I guess maybe a less extreme version of Frozen, but like also, I mean, I don't know. I guess nobody in Frozen was really likable either, but everybody in this was so like wildly unlikable.
Just awful.
Yeah, and they were also like stuck in the lift for like 2 hours when the one guy decided he just was okay with murder. So I'm like, all right, well, I don't know.
I want a prequel with that guy because that guy's got something going on.
Holy shit, I hated him so much.
Yeah,
Oh my god,
he's not great.
no.
Yeah, let's just dive into it because I feel like, I don't know, anytime I say it's a movie that's got like no plot, we talk about it for like an hour and a half. So
Yeah, and I mean, I don't have a ton of notes, but
all I really want to talk about is the incredible CGI of when the dude is like on the rope
oh
and
my
his
god,
snowboard falls and then just like the whole fucking floor opens up.
the ground, yeah. Okay, so this movie, again, I think I don't know. It starts off with like somebody filming a video on their iPhone because I think one of the characters is like a vlogger with a V. So it starts off with like a home video and it's just like a bunch of friends getting together and they're gonna, I don't know. I was confused as to why they were like walking to a ski lift for so long when they like started out at a ski lift. So I was already confused, but it basically, they're just like, oh, we're friends. Yay. You know, and then it cuts to them like trekking through the snow. It's also nighttime. I feel like skiing is better left for the daytime, in my opinion. But they're like walking up the mountain to get to the ski lift. One of the guys, Roma, has a Christmas tree for some reason, even though this is taking place on New Year's Eve. I don't know.
You don't like, bring your tree with you for...
No, I don't.
$1 million idea. Portable Christmas tree.
What if...
I mean,
we should just start... Okay. Nobody steal this idea. Just trademark, I hope you suffer. We start a year-round... It's always Christmas trees, but we just sell them for every holiday in different colors.
Halloween trees.
Okay.
Done.
Well,
I was gonna say
thing.
Arbor Day trees, but I guess that's what Arbor Day is about.
That's also a thing. Yeah.
Ides of March trees.
4th of July trees.
Easter tree.
Where we just wrap it
I
in
like it.
American flag
Treester.
and burn it on. Ooh, treester.
Nice.
Man, we're onto something here. We're gonna be billionaires. We're gonna be the next Time Person of the Year.
Yeah.
Fuck
Yeah.
you, Elon Musk. I know you're listening.
Yeah.
Piece of shit.
How dare
I bet you,
how
Elon Musk.
dare you steal Carl Havoc's Person of the Year?
Wow. Anyway, yeah, they've got a Christmas tree for New Year. I'm sorry, a New Year's Eve tree.
Yeah.
Coined term. They stopped to take a selfie and
New Year's Treve.
See, this is already better than all of the like creep myths and shit that people use.
Till like an hour.
And then one of the girls, they call her Kat. Her name is Katya. She gets a FaceTime from one of her friends, and her friend. Essentially, what's happening here is that there's two couples. It's Dennis and Vic, and then Katya and another K name, Kirill or something. I don't see it on here. So, and then Kirill, and then Roma. Roma is just like a piece of shit. He's by himself. So Katya gets a call from her friend, and her friend is essentially just like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm snowboarding with my boyfriend." And she's like, "I thought you were going to break up with him." And she's like, "Yeah, well, it's fine right now." Also, we find out that she is pregnant and has not told him. From her point of view,
storyline was fucking dumb as hell, and I hated it.
Yeah. Yes. So, like, basically, from her point of view, things are terrible because she's pregnant with this guy's baby, and also she wants to break up with him, but she's going snowboarding with him anyways. So he like comes up behind her, and it's just like, "Hey," and she's like, "Oh, gotta go snowboarding," and like hangs up, and it's kind of just like, "Oh yeah, that was my friend." And so we get he's like acting kind of weird, so we kind of get the impression that like he overheard at least part of it, and or like knows something weird's going on. To be honest, he kind of acts like a tool the whole time anyway, so I would not blame her for breaking up with him.
Not interested in literally anything this entire movie.
No. So they get, so Katya is basically like, "Oh yeah, well, I'm going to wait till after the holidays or some shit." Okay. So this is like the part that I was confused, because they get to the ski lift and they're like walking through it, and I was just like, why are they inside? I'm really confused. There's also like a memorial to a bunch of people who have like died on the mountain, which again doesn't seem like a very good place to be.
Y'all. The actress that plays Katya, I regret to inform you, is in a movie called Santa Claus Battle of the Mages that we could have done.
Oh, what the heck, Nathan?
Young girl Masha accidentally discovers the organization of snow and ice mages fighting the global devil under the leadership of Santa Claus.
Oh no. Global devil sounds potentially anti-Semitic.
Oh, yeah. I thought
one of the reviews says a really fun Russian Harry Potter ripoff with less transphobia, so.
All right, well.
I don't know whether to be.
I trust that review immediately. Gotta say.
Probably not hard to be less transphobic than Harry Potter, but.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say, but yeah, I don't know. Wow.
We'll cover this movie in August. It'll be fine.
Bummer. Yeah, right. So, one of the people, like, I don't know, technically they're like getting on the lift after hours, and one of the guys had like paid the lift operator to like keep the lift open, but now the lift operator is like, "Oh, well, you guys were late, like there's rules, I can't let you on," or whatever. And there was like some back and forth, and essentially the guy ends up like bribing him even more. So he's like, "Okay, fine, go ahead." So they all get on the cart, and the guy is basically, so it's like a big ski lift, but it's like all enclosed. I guess if you haven't seen the cover, it's not like a regular ski lift where you're just like open air. It's like a cart. So yeah, it's automatic. Don't touch anything inside. Don't do this. Don't do that, or whatever. And then Kirill is like, oh my God, like, have you guys seen my brown bag? And they're like, no, we don't know where it is. Like, it's probably on the car. Just like, get on. He's like, no, I can't go anywhere without it. Like, if I left it behind, I have to go get it. So he gets off and he's basically like trying to get Kat to like come with him. And he's like, please, like, don't go without me. Like, please come back. And she's just like, no, sorry. And then the door shuts and they like leave him down there, which is kind of a bitch move, but whatever. Roma like immediately starts hitting on Kat, and I don't know, he turns on some terrible music and they drink champagne.
That's most of this movie, really.
The first half of this movie specifically.
Terrible music and champagne.
So
it's like it's the music is weird because it's literally just like I assumed it was gonna be like, I don't know, Russian
Bad
songs or whatever, like, you know, Russian pop music, but it's just like Imagine Dragons type shit.
It's awful. I know there's sick Russian music because Grand Theft Auto 4 had a whole Russian station that fucking banged.
Yeah.
They could have just used that.
Missed opportunity. They also, like, when the music played, they like put the person, whoever the artist was, like, in the subtitles, and I was like, are we supposed to know, like, is there some universe where, like, this is popular to the point that they're, like, crediting them in the in the subtitle? I don't know.
Well, they did that
They just want you to know,
they did
just
that
in case.
thing too that a lot of movies do, where like the phone, like a phone screen pops up, so like,
oh god,
you
you see that they're texting or whatever.
You would see the text, but then you would also see like anytime this dude's just like sulking in his fucking
Listening to
hotel room and
music.
shit or whatever, it's just like pops up with like whatever he's listening to.
Yeah, and I'm like, do people actually care? Anyways, the lift abruptly just like stops and the power goes out. And they're all like, okay, that's weird. And there's like metal creaking. You can like hear the workings of the lift, which like really freaked me out. They wait around for like 15-ish minutes and like the power doesn't come on. And they're like, okay, this is kind of weird. Roma decides that he's just going to open the car doors to, you guessed it, drain the lizard.
3 weeks in a row, there you go.
And so they're like, come on, guy. Like, also, I guess, I don't know that this is customary or why this was a thing, but the lift operator gave them the key to the doors that open. So he's got to like unlock it. He's like peeing or whatever. The lift operator like goes, you know, back and is like flipping, like messing with fuses and shit. And he does get the power back on. The car jerks really hard, and like Roma, unfortunately, only almost falls out. But Dennis saves him. And so the lift is working again. And I was like, okay, all right, we're still working. Roma finds like the bag that Kirill like went back to get. And inside there's a bottle of something that I assume is really expensive because they all get really excited when they like see the alcohol. And so Dennis calls him and is like, hey, we found your bag. Like, we have it. Oh yeah, we have this like alcohol or whatever. And Kirill is like, tell Kat to just throw it out. Why he's being such a douche. But then she ends up finding a ring box that has a ring in it because he obviously was like going up there for like a romantic situation where he was going to like propose to her. But then, you know, she's trying to break up with him. So awkward. She tries to call his phone, but he ignores her because he's a dickhead. So now we're back to the lift operator. He is just, you know, clanging around back there. But, I guess he was like oiling the gears or something, and his key ring gets caught in one of the like wheel gear situation things and literally just like chokes him to death and he dies.
It rules. It's the best part of the movie.
I mean, wheel gear
real,
situation thing is what I'm calling everything that is a method of transportation.
There was a wheel gear situation.
Yeah.
So he also like, I'm not sure if he did this on purpose or if it was a mistake, but he's got like a crowbar or a pipe or something that he throws into the lift equipment so that the gears like jam and it like short circuits the whole control panel. And I was like, why do you do that?
Seemed cool.
It looked intentional. Like, I don't know. He was like, fuck these kids.
That's a mood.
Kirill has made it back to the lodge. That's the only thing we need to know about him. Who cares? So the power is out and stuff, in the lift again. But then they're like, okay, whatever. It's about to be midnight. So they celebrate the countdown and they've got like sparklers and cats like filming it. And then what I would describe as a music video happens. It's just like all music and they're like jumping around with the sparklers and like taking video and being like, Happy New Year, yay, and like drinking and stuff. But it goes on for kind of a while, which was unfortunate.
Yeah, but we got more cool songs.
No. I just feel like, so we're literally like 20 minutes into the movie at this point, and I was like, what are we going to do for the rest of the like hour runtime? Because they're already stuck.
The answer,
dream
mope
sequences
to sad
mope.
songs.
You get what's her name dreaming that fucking dude is stabbing her and stuff a bunch of times to fake
The
you
dreams.
It's like if Sandstorm was Sadstorm, and you're riding in a limo.
God, I wish I was a superhero named Sadstorm.
that is your
Same
superhero name. Okay, so it's morning now and everything is like frosted over and I did not understand this part at all. So they hear a helicopter and Kat gets up and like goes over to the glass and sees that there's a dude there and she's like gets scared and then he starts breaking the glass and then she like screams and wakes up because it was a nightmare and I was like, I don't understand why she would be scared of someone rescuing them.
All the dream sequence things that happen in it were very stupid.
I just like this particular one. I don't understand how this was a nightmare if like they were getting rescued. I don't know. Anyways, everyone wakes up at that point, and they can't find Dennis because he is on the roof of the cable car, which is just absolutely the last place I would ever want to be. It's actually morning now, and we get kind of like snippets of like these new lift operating people coming in to like work. And it's really useless because they spend the entire like movie almost like not actually doing anything. Like they come in and they're like, oh, the guard left the door open. That's weird. Oh, he didn't clock out last night. That's weird. Also, the lift isn't working. Oh, well, we'll just shut the doors and make people use a different lift. And they do absolutely no investigation as to, like, where the guy is or why the lift isn't working. They're just kind of like, oh, well. And I was like, all right.
That's what I would do.
All right.
Like people
I don't
ask
know.
me if we have something at work in the back, and I just go and just walk in a circle and come back and say no.
That's fine, because who cares about customers? But it's like...
Yeah, who cares about people in their ski lifts and shit? Fuck them.
I don't know. I just feel like they could have just took a peek downstairs or something and saw that a guy got hanged, but whatever. Okay. So they all basically go out and like look out the roof, and they look down and see that they're like up in the clouds, which is terrifying. And the dudes are talking about how like the only thing that they can do is try and go down the cable.
Again,
Even if I
Frozen
hadn't,
did it
even if I
first.
hadn't have seen Frozen, I know that's a bad idea. Also, they're like way higher than the ski lift was in Frozen because they're like in the fucking clouds. I don't understand how they thought that was going to work. Anyways,
Well, so like realistically, like I assume, I like to assume, there's got to be poles however many hundreds of feet, right, to like keep the wires up. And so they have like a carabiner that the one dude stole that they, coming up they used to like the one dude's like using to like try and like go down to the ground. Like, why can't you use the harness and that carabiner like on the wire and like pull yourself to wherever one of the poles are? Because I feel like those poles probably got some sort of ladder on them for when they have to.
I don't know.
I'm obviously I'm thinking about this in like real world, not like movie world like terms, but that was the thing I thought when they like brought up like going along the wire, where I was like, okay, well, you have like the stuff to like do this in a smart way, but they don't.
Yeah, I don't know. And like I don't know. I just feel like if the lift workers would have just like done their job a tiny bit and like looked around, and then these people would have just like chilled the fuck out, everything would have been fine. But this is the point where the movie just continues to go downhill because these people are just fucking idiots. So, and it hasn't even been a full day. It was like nighttime. It was literally like 11:30 when they got on
it's been like 4
the
hours.
ski lift. And it's now 9 a.m. So, like, calm down. So, and also they're like, we have plenty of food and water. So I'm like, okay, just chill out. So basically, they want to go down the cable. Vic and Katya are talking about how, like, oh, well, like, when the morning shift comes in, they're going to realize that, like, something's wrong. They're going to save us. And the dudes are like, oh, no, like, they come in at 8 and it's 9 o'clock. So if they were going to save us, it should have been an hour ago. And so they're like, okay, that's not great. I'll give you that. And so basically they're like looking around to see if they can locate some like safety things. They think maybe there will be like a parachute or something. So they're looking around, and because they're gonna like try and get out of the cart. And Conti is like, this is a really bad idea. Like, you guys should just chill out because Kirill is definitely gonna be looking for us. Okay. Hard cut to this stupid dickhead like being asleep in the bathtub with his clothes on, and I was like, what is going on with this dude? I think we're supposed to assume that he was like so upset he just got hammered and has like a hangover or whatever, but we don't see that at all. It just like literally he wakes up in a running shower with clothes on, and I was like, okay. He wakes up because he's getting a phone call from, I don't know, somebody in his family who's basically just like, woohoo, yay, when are you getting married? And he realizes that, like, she hasn't come home. And so instead of being worried, he, like, sends her a text that's like, why don't you just stay wherever you slept? And I was like, wow, toxic much? Meanwhile, the people who were stuck at the lift, decide to burn the, what did you call it?
What, the
New Year's Eve tree?
New Year's tree.
Yeah.
New Year's tree. They burn the New Year's tree for warmth and eat Pringles. I love Pringles. So, this is where I wrote, the workers just closed the entire lift without even looking or trying to figure out what's going on. So, like, yeah. So now, I don't know. I think I missed something because I looked back up and everyone was just like yelling at Katya. So I guess she had found a rope and then decided to lie and say she didn't find it because she didn't think it was safe. Which, like, not gonna lie, I might have done that too. But they find it. And they just start, like, laying into her and being, like, really fucking rude about it. And she's like, I'm just trying to, like, save you guys because it's not safe. And so basically, oh yeah, and then Roma and Vic get in a fight for some reason, and they all start like fighting and pushing each other around. Again, it's been like hours only because they were asleep for most of it. So I'm just like, wow, this like went. I mean, again, it's just like another group of friends who like the people actually like all hate each other mostly. You know what I mean? Actually, I think it's just Roma. And you know, he's a big piece of shit. I don't know why he was even like with them in the first place. But
everyone's gonna have like,
anyways,
because he starts out as like the Screech of the group, and he just turns into like a
like
psychopath.
kind of like drop of a hat psychopath. They decide that I don't know why that this I again don't know why this is what they decided to do, but they use the rope and the carabiner to hook Dennis up, and they're basically just gonna like, oh, also they give him a helmet with a GoPro, sure, and they lower him down,
This
and they're gonna try and
fucking GoPro thing just baffled me to no end because it comes back. Was it a post-credit scene? I don't know if either of you made it that far.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, what was the point of all of this?
I don't know.
I turned it off as soon as the credits hit. I was like, no,
I usually just like,
it was technically.
I watch it on my phone at work, so I just like skip, just like hit like the forward 30 seconds or whatever just to see. And it just like, it gets to the end of the credits and you just see like a camera pan and there's just like the helmet with the GoPro, and then it just goes to black, and I was like, okay, so what was the point of any of that?
It wasn't even at the end. It was literally like the credits start playing with the music, and they pan over to it, and then go to like black screen credits, and I was like, what?
It was.
Why? But why? Okay, because they don't ever at any point show us the GoPro footage or anything. There's just like no point to it. Anyways, they're lowering Dennis to the ground. I don't know why. Again, I'm just want to remind you that they're up in the clouds and they're just going to lower him down to the ground using a rope. And he gets, I guess, close, he thinks, and he drops his snowboard on the ground, and the entire ground just like crumbles away.
Hell opens up.
I'm not going to lie, I was a little surprised that this happened.
It would have been so
yikes.
sick if this movie just turned into a thing where just like the ground opened up into like hell.
Yeah.
As opposed to
but it didn't.
Just more snow.
So he's yelling at them to like pull him back up, but they can't hear, so they're still like letting him down. And so he's trying to like climb back up the rope himself, but he like flips. So when he falls, the tension basically like pulls Roma through the hatch. And then, so they're both just like dangling into open air. And Katya's just like holding them, and the like rope is tied around her arm. And I was like, I don't know how that works, but sure. And then, again, I was very shocked. Roma just like pulls out a knife and cuts the cable and lets Dennis fall to his death so that he can climb back up into the cart. Insane. And then it like switches back over to Kirill, who is finally going to like his friend's room to like check on them. And like no one's answering, so he's just pissed off and he decides that he's going to leave and go to the airport. Dude, your friends went night snowboarding and you haven't heard from them since. And you're just like,
they were
going
to like a cabin to stay the night. They weren't going to snowboard at night.
Were they going to a cabin?
Yeah, they were supposed to be going to like some place they were going to be staying the night. And like, I think the idea was that they would like snowboard back in the morning, or like whenever they were going back.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I still feel like have a little concern.
I like the idea of the dude just like taking the tree just to snowboard back down with the tree.
I mean, what was he going to do with it otherwise?
Maybe that was their dinner.
So,
tree's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tiny. So Vic is like upset, of course, because her boyfriend just died, and she's like yelling at Roma, and she like pulls a knife, and she's like, "Why did you do that? Why did you kill him?" And Roma's like, "We would have all died." And I was like, technically just you two would have, but whatever. And so then I don't know, she's trying to convince herself that like the snow, like, like Dennis fell into the snow and it like softened the blow, so he's fine. And I was like, okay, girl. Then it turns out she's got like a huge wound and she passes out. I don't know. She got hurt somehow when.
It's when like the rope like breaks free or whatever, like something just like cuts an artery or some shit.
I don't know. Roma is kind of just like, I don't know, whatever. Katya's like screaming at him, so they end up making a tourniquet for Vic. I wrote but she looks dead. She's not dead yet, but I mean, spoilers, she totally dies. She's like bleeding out really fast. Then they hear a helicopter. Then Roma goes up onto the roof. He's like yelling at Katya to bring him flares, but she's trying to like save Vic's life. And so she does end up bringing the flares, but it's too late, and the helicopter leaves. Roma immediately turns in, like, if he he already is full blown psychopath because he like, you know, killed Dennis, but he's just like getting even worse now because he's immediately just like shoving her on the top of the lift or whatever, and he's just like, I don't know, he's just being a stupid dickhead. He's like, this is all your fault, even though like before he was like trying to get her to like sleep with him and stuff. So
yeah, he makes a pretty quick turn.
Yeah, he hits on her throughout the first half, and then as soon as they get stuck, he's like, this is all your fault, you're worthless, nobody likes you. And I was like, okay, calm down, bro. Like, it's not her fault at all, but whatever. And he like pushes her. She falls down on the hatch to get that leads like back into the cart, and it basically gets like stuck. So now they are stuck on the roof. This is where we get like 2 full songs of us having to watch Kirill like be emo and listen to music in the taxi cab like on the way to the airport. And I was like, what the fuck is this?
That's part of the movie.
Why? It was like 2 full songs. So, let's see. Back to Roma and Kat, like, they decide that the only way that they can get back in is if they can, like, lower themselves down to the side of the cart and unlock those doors to get in. But, like, Katya's, like, scared and doesn't want to go. And Roma is just like, you need to do it. This is all your fault, blah, blah, blah. Also, she has the key. And he starts, like, charging at her, and Barbara's so stupid. She, like, pulls a flare on him, and he just, like, stands there and waits till the flare runs out. And I was like, yo, what was your, like, plan for that?
Yeah, why did you not, like, throw it at him and catch him on fire?
I don't know, but after the flare stops, he goes after her. She like sidesteps and pushes him or whatever, and he falls, and his jacket catches on fire because of the flare, and he like takes it off and throws it. She has like slid down the side of the cart and is literally just like holding on to like some metal on the side. So she's like, you know, her legs are all free swinging in the air and shit. And he like pulls a piece of, I don't know, like metal.
He like pulls like a bar
from the roof,
from, like the top of it, and starts like you know, like that. Then makes the entire cart unstable, apparently, which seems not great.
Yeah, pretty dangerous.
It seems like not great construction of this thing.
Just to make this like an even more bad situation, which again, if they would have just done nothing, they would have been fine. So he's like swinging at her with the pipe, and she manages to like scurry over and unlock the door and get in. She relocks the door. he's like up there banging on the roof. He's all pissed off and stuff. Vic is definitely dead at this point. And this is when we find out that like the piece of like iron that he broke off is what was like securing the cable. So there's like 4 of them or whatever, but it's basically securing the top of the cart to the thing that's like attached to the cable. So the kind of like shock of him like banging on the door is like making the cart move, and it like jars that whole side loose, and Roma loses balance and falls.
Goodbye.
Good riddance. Yeah.
R.I.P. to a real
but
one.
No.
Only
Not
good character in the
RIP.
movie.
Wow. So he's dead. The motion of the cart coming detached also makes Kat fall. She was like up on the ladder trying to hold the door shut so he couldn't get in, and she falls on the ground and is knocked out, which doesn't really seem
She also falls like
it was.
half an inch away from falling through the open door in the bottom.
Yeah, that's not great. Doesn't seem like she fell far enough to be like knocked out, but whatever.
Movie could have ended like 45 minutes early if she would just fell through it.
Honestly. She's knocked out. Meanwhile, Kirill is at the airport and he calls the hotel to be like, hey, did my friends come back? And the lady's like, no. And he's like, now I'm starting to get suspicious. He like checks their social media accounts and sees that they haven't like posted, which I guess is weird because like Katya is like a vlogger or whatever, so she probably would have posted some stuff, right? So then
what
he's
a
like,
bleak fucking world where like the only reason you know something's wrong is your friends haven't posted in like 4 hours.
right? Yeah.
I hate it.
So, then he's like, okay, I'm going to go back. And he gets back in the same taxi. That's great. Katya wakes up to Roma climbing back through the hatch in the bottom. And I was like, that doesn't seem right. And he pops up and stabs her in the hand, which sucked, but it was just a dream. But it's really gross because she wakes up and she's basically like, you know, she's just been like laying there exposed to the elements. And so her hand is like frozen to the bottom of the cart, which is pretty gross.
I wonder if
She gotta like rip it off. Right. But, and it was only her hand. So like, she doesn't realize that Vic has died, so she's like trying to get her to wake up and she can't, but that's okay because she gets to take her jacket. It's starting to like storm now. She pours whiskey out on her like frozen hand to like, I don't know, disinfect it. And then she covers up the hatch that's like open at the bottom of the cart with a bunch of snowboards, and she starts like making a fire with a bunch of random stuff, but it's like drawings from someone's notebook. It's like Polaroid pictures of them, and it's like all this shit she lights on fire.
It rolls because it's like all basically just gathers like all of their shit that she can to like start a fire, and as she's doing it, like you see something
I don't know what that was.
from like
Some
on
kind
top
of
of the lift is like kind of like tapping into the cracked window from what's his name's hitting it with a pole. So as she's starting to get warm, the window breaks open and blows out the fire.
Yeah, and needless to say, she's sad about it. Then she makes a video on her phone for Kirill, I don't know how to say it, basically to say goodbye and to say that she'll marry him. Also, she's pregnant. That's it.
BT dubs.
And like
In case you were wondering.
the most dumb way, like just long overdrawn, like, and it'd be like a family, a mom, a dad, and a baby. And I was like, just be like, I'm pregnant. I'm also gonna die. Goodbye.
Yeah. Well, and she's like, I'm making this video not because I'm giving up, but because my battery's gonna die. I was like, okay. It was stupid. So meanwhile, he like gets to the lift building and he's like pounding on the doors, but it's closed and everything. So he's just gonna like, he sees this guy in this like huge snowplow and he's like, hey, can you give me a ride to the top? And the guy's like, no. He's like, okay, I'll walk. And then as he starts walking away, the guy's like, hey, Iceman, I'll give you a ride. And I was like, what the fuck? So he's gonna get that plow guy to like drive him up the mountain to the other ski lift. Meanwhile, Katya has another fucking dream. And basically in this dream, she's in like a beautiful spring field with her daughter. And Kirill is there. And they're like happy. And they're like, haha. And they have a bunch of balloons that they release into the sky, which is not great. Please don't do that. Ever. It's like a lot of balloons. It's like a Pennywise bouquet of red balloons, too. And I was like, what is going on here? So she wakes up because essentially the cart is at the point where it's going to break off the brace thing and fall. So she, like, I don't know, starts getting her shit together. She's got, I thought that this was a parachute. It's a kite. I don't know why
Close,
he had a kite
close enough.
in his bag. But she, like, gets it with a bunch of Christmas lights and puts it in the backpack and puts the backpack on. And then, like, as that's happening, the cart snaps off. And she just, like, has a real Jurassic Park moment where she like flies down and like slams into the glass and it's just like looking into, you know, the abyss through the glass. And she ends up like rolling over onto like a metal part of the cage, like right as Vic's body falls and just like busts through the window and everything, which is not great. But then like, okay. This whole thing was like very confusing because she's like fine, right? And then she's like climbing back up through the cart to get this fire extinguisher to like try and bust through the top of the hatch, which is now like on the side of the car. But then it just like suddenly like cuts to the cart falling and like crashing into the mountain and the CG is really bad. And I was like, okay. Well, that's that.
Yeah, the CGI that they use in this is pretty bad.
Yeah.
Especially for something
like
that
2019.
like well, for 2019, but also like all you're really doing for most of the CGI is like just snow. Like you could probably make it look better than it is.
Yeah, it's also like dark and like snowstorming. So I don't know. I was like very put off by how bad it was. Also, again, it was just like a hard cut to it crashing into a mountain, and I was like, all right. So, in the ski lift building, there's like an alarm going off, and Kirill like arrives there, and they have it's like nighttime again, and they have just found the like lift operator who's died. They like just finally find his body, and he overhears her like talking to somebody on the phone about how there was a cable cart that fell and that's why the alarm is going off. And he's like, oh no, like were there people on it? And she's just like, no, nobody was on it. Then the subtitle said klaxon morphs to ominous sounds, and I was like, what now? So it just was like so weird.
That's what all subtitles should say all the time.
Like, I'm assuming that they were talking about the sound of the siren, because the siren is like wow, wow, and then it like morphs into this like boo 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 boo, and I was like, this is slow, and it was like it lasted a really long time for some reason. Real like finally realizes like what's happened to her, that they were like on the lift and it's fallen and they're probably dead, and he runs outside and he's like freaking out and crying and like emo music starts playing again. Like, not actually emo music, but he is emo, and they start playing music again. And then it just cuts to like Katya like holding onto basically the like structure that connects the cable car to the cable. So she's just like chilling up there. She's fine. This is also where I was really confused because she's got a string of Christmas lights that are still on. And I thought she was going to like put the lights on the kite and then furl the kite out so that they could see it. And she does do that with the kite, but like doesn't use the lights. I was like, why did she even bring the lights? I'm really confused about the lights situation.
Yeah, I assumed it was just supposed to be like, I don't know. The lights, everything the last half of this movie, once it's like just her or whatever, is just extremely stupid.
Yeah. Because basically what happens is he goes outside and is like crying, and she unfurls the kite, and somehow she's like close enough to the lift station still that he can see the kite somehow. But like, I don't know. It was the schematics of the place were really confusing to me. But then he sees it and he's like, oh, she's still alive. So he like goes back inside and is like, oh, I'm gonna fix this. So he sees that there's like that metal pipe in the gear wheel situation, and he's like, oh, we have to get this out. So they use they use the winch from like the snowplow to basically like get the pipe out because he can't do it himself. And then they get the machines working again. And the storm is just like not a storm anymore. Everything's fine. And they just like kind of cut to everyone like rescuing Katya, and they give her an oxygen mask and it like fades out. So, and then she looks up into the sky and she sees a bundle of red balloons, and then fucking stupid. And then it like music starts playing, and that's when it like pans over to like what's his face's helmet with the GoPro for no reason, and then it like is over. And I was like, what was that even about?
I hope the red balloon means she's dead.
Me too, actually.
Make this movie
That would make sense.
at least have an interesting ending.
Yeah, we'll just read it that way.
Yeah. This, I don't know. I guess if you like Frozen, like it's fine.
Just watch Frozen.
I mean, like
no, I'm gonna say just watch Frozen instead.
No, I'm not saying you should watch this, but like, I don't know. This was like very like we've done way worse.
Oh yeah,
it was
sure.
a movie.
Yeah,
it was fine. If I were to say anything, I would just say like it was kind of long for what actually happened, and they just put in so much drama that just
it's only like
doesn't.
an hour 20 as well.
Well, they were trapped on the thing for an entire hour, right? So like, I don't know.
Those extra 10 minutes of commercials from Tubi really is murder for a movie like this.
You feel
I mean, I would agree. Yeah.
All right. News, Katie?
No.
Good.
there's still no news.
Never.
What did everybody watch this week? Kit, did you go see Vendetta? Am I correct on that?
Yes. I forgot because of how we've been recording. I saw Benedetta at some point between all of these episodes. And
I know.
That movie fucking rules.
God, I can't wait for it to,
A++. Is
that the nun one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Lesbian nun movie. It rocks.
Nice.
If you've ever wanted to see Jesus going hard with a sword, highly recommended.
I thought about it before.
Would have made Passion of the Christ more watchable.
Yes.
That's for sure.
Agreed. Also, if there were lesbian nuns.
Yeah. I mean, that's a given for any movie.
Yeah, it's anything. Silent Night, Deadly Night 3. lesbian nuns. Boom.
Yeah, been a 5 out of 5 star movie. What else you watch?
Scanner Cop 1 and 2,
Yeah.
both rock. And then Ebola Syndrome, which is it's fucked up, but also rules, low-key. The opening 5 minutes are bonkers.
I think I'm gonna try and watch it tomorrow. It's,
Warning for anyone who decides to watch off of this recommendation: a lot of murdered chickens, like for real, real murdered.
Oh no.
Yes, I hope they at least ate them or something.
yeah, it's hard.
It's a lot.
When
It's a lot better than anything in like any of the cannibal movies, like Holocaust or Cannibal Ferox or whatever. That's so. At least there's that, I guess. I don't know. That's not.
it's hard when you get into like some of these like 70s, 80s, 90s movies that were like, I mean, I assume it's a low budget. I haven't watched it yet, but I feel like it probably is. I'm not sure. But like you get into like a lot of not great animal cruelty stuff.
Yeah, it was very weird being like, oh, we were still doing this in 1996, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like there's stuff that comes out now that still has some of it that's from like, like whatever country that don't necessarily have like laws against that kind of shit. So
at least Kingdom of the Spiders had the decency to murder spiders,
Right. Ooh, spiders.
Katie, what'd you watch?
I honestly don't think I watched anything that wasn't for the podcast because of the way that we're recording. I think I watched like 12 movies.
Like the last 2 weeks.
In like the last couple of days, yeah. Except for I was like doing projects and there was like a Christmas movies on in the background and they were all really terrible, including Christmas Break-In. And then we watched this other one that was called like A Cinderella Story, A Christmas Wish, and it was very bad. But Jay and Trent from The Walking Dead were both in it, and so I was like, "What the fuck?" I'm sorry, Day of the Dead.
Rude.
The Walking Day of the Dead.
Yeah.
Yes, there you go. Day of the Walking Dead. So that was really weird.
Today's Walking Dead.
I can't say that I watched anything worth recommending.
I watched Santa Jaws and Ernest Saves Christmas. Perfect.
I need to watch Ernest Saves Christmas.
Yes.
It's been a long time.
Caitlin and I watched Nicole Byers' new stand-up special on Netflix. And then I watched MacGruber and Popstar. Both perfect. So was Santa Jaws and Ernest Saves Christmas.
Yeah, I need to fit Santa Jaws in again.
I need to sign up for a new Peacock trial so I could watch the new Saved by the Bell and the MacGruber series that's coming out.
What?
Yeah, there's a MacGruber series that's coming on Peacock pretty soon, I think.
Why?
Why?
Crazy.
It's gonna be perfect. It's gonna be lots of.
It's just called Old Groobs, and he's old.
I'd watch that. That sounds pretty good. All right, shout outs. Katie.
Nope.
All right.
I can't think. I have no idea.
Katie's shout out is Handcuffed for Christmas or whatever that fucking Mario Lopez movie's called.
Probably. As I said, I recall it not being terrible. So it's probably fine. It's probably great. Great watch for the family.
Yeah. I assume Mario Lopez being handcuffed is a great watch for the family.
Of course.
Kit.
Shout out to the end of the holiday season. I never want to package another thing at work ever again in my whole fucking life.
Hard agree. God, I had something I thought about earlier, and I don't remember what it was.
Smegma.
Ranch milk.
Ew. Ew.
I had a dream that I created
Ew.
milk that tastes like ranch that you put on your cereal. There's also a chocolate and strawberry one. So
ranch milk is the future.
Yep.
I'm sorry, ranch strawberry. I didn't get the part that you invented it. I just thought it was happening to you.
I mean, I'm assuming I invented it. I just remember it being a thing.
You're the king of the ranch milk.
So TM.
Wow.
So many new ideas in this episode.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a billionaire from ranch milk. Only sold in the Midwest.
Ranch milk day tree.
Ranch it up.
All right. Next week there will be an episode.
Blood.
Something.
Who knows?
It'll either be
Bigfoot
versus Megalodon or something else.
Yeah, I don't even know when this comes out. So
Bigfoot versus Megalodon.
This will come out the 27th. But it'll either, I'm not sure, we'll have something.
Happy New Year, probably.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
I hope not.
Soon.
Hopefully it's just everything stops.
The world ends. Yeah.
It's all over.
Hopefully they were just off by like 10 years for 2012.
It was really disappointing being at a pool hall at midnight on 2012 and just still being there.
Yeah. I think the next movie we're gonna do is Bigfoot versus Megalodon, but based on holiday schedules and stuff, and both of you like going out of town for a bit, I'm working on something. I think I'm doing an episode with Lori from Queer Horror Cult that may drop in between this and Bigfoot versus Megalodon. I'm not sure yet, but
sick.
We'll see. Something will be out at some point. We'll have an episode.
Eventually, something will happen, perhaps.
Yeah, eventually, there'll be a Bigfoot episode in your feed, I assume. At some point.
Big feet.
I feel like we haven't done a Bigfoot movie since episode 2, I think.
Man, it's been too long.
Yeah.
Suburban Sasquatch coming at you.
Oh, shit. Is that a real movie?
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
You know it.
I'm in.
Bigfoot month.
Yeah.
That's how we'll start the new year.
If you want us to do Bigfoot month, sign up for our Patreon at patreon.com/podcast. We'll do Bigfoot versus DB Cooper. I think.
What?
Yeah, that is a movie.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's real.
There were 4 Bigfoot versus movies on Letterboxd, and one of them I refused to do because it's a Polonia.
Oh God.
Movie. So Bigfoot versus Zombies is out. Also, it's probably terrible, but there's Bigfoot versus DB Cooper, which is directed by the director of A Talking Cat, Sorority Babes in the Slimeball Bolorama, Creepazoids.
Oh God.
A bunch of puppet masters. So I assume that movie slaps.
Quality.
Wow. I do like the spin there. I think that's probably what happened to DB Cooper.
But there's also
he's the director.
Bigfoot versus the Illuminati.
Oh.
Which I have to assume also rules. Which I also think is I can't tell if it's tied together with Bigfoot versus Megalodon or not, because a bunch of the reviews for Bigfoot versus Megalodon is first he fought the Illuminati, so I can't tell if that's they're actually part of a series or it's just
right,
people saying bullshit, because technically first he fought DB Cooper.
All right. Well, we'll find out, I guess.
Yeah, maybe.
Stay
I don't
tuned.
know if we'll do all of them or not, but we'll find out at least the Megalodon one, because I want to watch Bigfoot fight a shark. Yeah, and if you signed up for our Patreon, you can listen to a week ago when Katie and I talked about some Christmas movies that ran the gamut from pretty fucking terrible to pretty awesome.
And also, spoilers, Marvel for like 25 minutes for no
I
reason.
think longer than that.
I was going to say half an hour, but I don't
It
know.
ended up being a 2-hour episode where at least 45 minutes of it was us talking about Spider-Man. But, you can hear us
holiday movie Spider-Man.
talk about a fucking shitty Krampus movie. And also Letters to Satan Claus, which whips all the ass.
Slap.
Also, a couple days after this comes out on our Patreon, you could listen to our episode on movies with new metal soundtracks, where we talked about Spawn, Queen of the Damned, and Freddy vs. Jason. So,
Very good.
if you ever wanted to hear us talk about Freddy Krueger, that'll probably be your only chance.
That's right. This is your only opportunity.
Gonna talk about From Autumn to Ashes, who are on Freddy vs. Jason. Also, not enough bodies by drowning pool in these movies.
Very sad.
I'll agree with
Should have
that.
been in all of them, even though. Nope.
Oh no.
Alarmed. My dog is losing her fucking mind.
Oh, I know. Somehow on my end there was no drama today. Oh, dog started barking.
Yeah, there you go. Now you got dogs barking.
Yeah, just as I was saying, there's no dogs. There they are. They can hear me.
They knew.
I don't know. Leave us reviews. All that stuff.
Help us.
Follow us on Instagram at IPSuffer Podcast. Follow Kate at Hidden Kidstory. Follow Katie at Werewolf Face. Listen to other podcasts, 8K Movie Club. Don't take trees on your snowboarding trips.
Bad news.
It's my advice.
Unless
for the week.
it's a snowboarding tree from us that you purchased and gave us money for.
Yeah. Katie will send you a Christmas tree if you send her money.
Yep, I sure will.
Alright. I hope you ranch but milk.
Oh,